I wanted to put out this video because of the news that's come out about Chris Watts' parents claiming insurance money. Chris Watts had a $450,000 life insurance policy on Shanann and the girls, and after they were murdered, his parents apparently claimed the money. For obvious reasons, it wouldn't have been legal for Chris Watts to have claimed the insurance on Shanann and the children's deaths. So after he was arrested, it wouldn't have made any sense for him to have done that. But his parents still did. Shanann's parents and Chris's parents ended up going to court to decide on who was going to get the funds. And it doesn't say what the outcome was. But the fact that the Watts did go to court to fight this has enraged a lot of people. And I don't think that that's surprising that people are angry about it, because it's pretty shocking. So Cindy and Ronnie Watts thought they were entitled to money that was going to be paid out because of the deaths of Shanann and the girls at the hands of their son Chris. So what does that tell us about them? First of all, I think it shows a deep lack of empathy for what the Ruzeks are going through. Not only do they not care about the people who deserve that and anything else positive that might come to them after this horrible tragedy, you know, after they have been all of them have been abused by Chris Watts, who completely betrayed their trust and murdered their own family. You know, so not only do they feel a lack of empathy about that, but they also believe that they are entitled to this money, that somehow they deserve some of this money. So what would it take to believe that you deserve this money after your son has murdered his wife and children? What would it take to think that you deserve it over the family of the people your son has murdered? A good way to spot how narcissistic someone is to see what they feel entitled to do. To what extent do they feel they don't have to acknowledge another person's boundaries? This can give us a clue as to how special they need to believe they are. And the more special and superior they need to be, the more damaged they are inside. And so the more narcissistic they're going to be. So given this situation is extreme, and that it's extremely inappropriate that they were fighting for money in court that came as a result of the murders of Shanann and the girls, that they were fighting the parents of Shanann for this money, you know, I think that shows us how superior they needed to be, you know, and how they didn't need to abide by the normal rules of common decency that other people are expected to abide by. I don't know how conscious this is for Ronnie. I don't know how superior he feels to other people, because we have a lot more information on Cindy. You know, she's given herself away quite a lot in these different TV interviews and through her book. So whereas with Ronnie, it's a bit harder to figure him out, I think, as a person, because we have limited information. But he at least believes that Cindy is superior. He seems to back her up, you know. When we listen to, for instance, the conversations they have with Chris, he gets interrupted a lot by Cindy and seems to accept that. He seems to enable her behaviour. So now with her trying to claim this money, there he is going along with her, going to court with her, backing her up. So even if he himself wouldn't behave like this, if he was single, you know, if he weren't married to her, he believes that anyway she is superior, if not himself. And she believes so as well. That's my personal opinion, because I don't think if you didn't have that belief that you would be able to do that, you know, that you'd be able to go to court without just feeling really ashamed and embarrassed about what you're doing. Because I think Cindy sees Chris as an extension of herself, when he does a crime like this, that will reflect on her, on how she feels about herself. So she needs to feel okay with him to feel okay with herself, because I think they are, in her mind, one person. And I've talked about that more in other videos. But I think because of this, her claiming that money is also about her believing that he hasn't really done anything that she should feel, as his mother, horrified and ashamed by. It's more like all of them were killed in a fire, including Chris, you know, and so she feels entitled to claim her half. So it also gives us a clue about how she views the murders. And this is backed up by what she's said to Chris, you know, how she's said, I don't care what you did. You know, that she still feels the same way about him. I'm going to be looking at entitlement soon in another video. It's not going to be about Chris Watts. The next video is going to be about Chris Watts. It's going to be about him and his sister and how they interacted during that jail visit in 2018. But later I'm going to talk more about entitlement, because it's such an important part of narcissism, you know, and I think it's a really good thing to look out for. If you're confused about whether someone's being narcissistic or whether it's you, whether their behaviour seems okay, if there's something wrong with you and that's why they're being like that, then ask yourself if they're behaving in an entitled way. If you were to take their behaviour and imagine yourself doing it, or one of your friends doing it, or someone you think is nice behaving like that, would it happen? Would you or these other people behave in that way? Or does it seem a bit extreme and like it doesn't really fit with what you would think would be normal, common decency? Because if it doesn't, then it's likely that's because they feel entitled to behave like that in a way that most people wouldn't feel entitled. And it can help to think of it like that, because that is reality, you know. And I think a lot of people blame themselves and they think, oh, someone's treating me like that because there's something wrong with me. Where in reality, people don't behave like that if they don't feel entitled to, if they don't for some reason believe that they're superior to you. And if anyone thinks that they're superior to you, then they're deluded, because people aren't superior to each other, you know, and it's only our beliefs that let us think they are, or that we are, you know. So you can have someone who everyone thinks is superior, maybe some kind of celebrity, but again, it's just a delusion, you know, nobody is. So you can have a mass delusion where everyone believes that this person is definitely superior to everyone else, but that doesn't mean it's true. So if anyone behaves as if they're superior to you, then they've deluded themselves and they're feeling entitled. So in the next video, I'm going to be looking at Jamie's interaction with Chris. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.